Hi, I'm
Hey,
Abby. Um, I go to Davidson College in North Carolina. My first year here, my first semester. Yeah.
all right. Well, Abby, tell me, what are some things that you did during your senior year to prepare yourself for life after graduation?
So I think a big thing my second half of my senior year, especially, was I really leaned into my life group. I think we all kind of did. Like we got really close and we talked to each other outside of groups all the time. And that was really helpful. One, because like the point that you're at now, senior year, is like super stressful trying to figure out like where you're going and like what's going to happen, but you're all going through it at the same time. So like it's just a really good like outlet to like pray about that stuff together and talk about that stuff together. But also now I'm still talking to people in my life group and like still getting advice from them, and we're still holding each other accountable, um, which is really important because like I'm not going to ask someone that I just met a week ago here to hold me accountable for something, but I
Yeah,
still like want, and I still need that like community of people um that like know me and love me and want the best things for me. Like they can still hold me accountable, and we can still like check in on each other and see like make sure that like we're spending time with God and like on top of our stuff, so that's been really helpful.
yeah.
And
So
also,
basically, just to reemphasize what you're
yeah.
saying that you really tried to deepen those relationships while you were there, so that they would continue on when you
Yeah.
were long distance. Basically, okay, go on.
Yeah. And another big thing during senior year was it's just a difficult time because it feels kind of like everything is out of your control because you don't know where you're going to get in. You don't know once you get in, like where you're going to decide to go. Like it all just seems like really big, and like it is really big stuff. So I think a big thing for me was prayer. Um, and that like really helped me prepare to come here because like once I like prayed about it and I like gave it to God, like gave those decisions of like where I was going to go to God and like how it was going to go, um, it became a lot easier to kind of like deal with it, I guess, because I like was just recognizing like it is out of my control, and it's fine because like God's going to put me where I need to be, and he's going to like put me with people that like I need to meet and stuff like that. So I think that was really helpful. And like even now, like prayer is like really important because I'm not with like a community of believers as often as I was. So like me talking to God by myself is like really important, like with my relationship with him.
Cool. What are some things that you wish you had done during the senior year to prepare you uh, for what you're going through right now? Um, and maybe even like what are you going through right now that is you didn't expect to go through?
Um, I think a big thing was, well, like I was saying earlier, like I did and I do still like really depend on the relationships that I had at home. Um, and I think I just wasn't like I knew, but I wasn't expecting like when you first get to college, like you're gonna be lonely and like you're not
Yeah,
gonna know people. And so like yes, it is a good thing to like maintain those relationships at home and still have those, but it's also really important to like understand and like realize like it isn't going to be the same like once you get here, and like there's going to be times where you feel like you're alone and stuff like that. And so it's like really important to just like know that going into it so you don't feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like you're not doing something wrong. Everyone's just going to be like lonely, but you're going to meet
yeah,
people and it's going to be
yeah,
fine. Just like know like for a little bit it's not going to be like the most fun.
yeah. I think it really takes time, and that's where it's like you really have to be ready to be able to lean on God, because you're going to have that lonely place in the beginning, no matter what you do, sororities,
Mm-hmm.
fraternities, sports, like you're going to have that, and you're going to need to be able to really lean on God right away up front.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Last thing is, why do you think it's so important for our current seniors, our class of 2021, to begin preparing right now for life after graduation?
um I think now is when you need to start because like I know senior year is already like a crazy time, so much going on and like so much like to think about, but like this summer and like when you first move into college, like it's going to get even crazier and there's going to be even more things that are like pulling your attention away from God and pulling your attention away from like community and stuff like that. So like if you don't already have an established like habit of spending time on your own with God, then it's going to be so much harder to establish that like once you get to college, because you're just not going to find time for it.
Yeah.
Like if you can't find time for it at home where you know the environment and you know what your schedule is, then when you get to college and you have to start making your own schedule, it's just not going to happen as easily.
Yeah.
So definitely I would do that. I would make that habit now to make it a lot easier once you get to college.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we talk about when we say we don't want to, like, training versus trying. We don't want to try really hard to stay close to God when we get there or to get involved. We want to train now so that when
Mm-hmm.
we get there, some of that stuff is second nature. When everything else is going crazy, like, you can have like that centered point. So that's awesome. Well, thank you, Abby, for sharing with our seniors. We love you so much, and we thank you for loving our students that are coming up behind you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. All right. So we are going to talk to Sarah, who is a third year, in your third year?
Yeah.
Third year of college at
Southeastern University online.
Southeastern University Online, which is a campus of Southeastern in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Right.
It's a fun time.
Awesome. And so Sarah grew up in our student ministry and graduated from our student ministry, and so we wanted to just hear from her a little bit about starting your transition while you're still in high school and some things that you did to help you as you went into life after high school. And so the first question I'll ask you is, what did you do during your senior year that helped prepare you for life after high school?
I think the biggest thing I did that helped a lot was like developing a routine in my day, because like obviously school takes out like a big part of your day, but having that like set routine, or even just like, okay, like today I'm gonna do like get this and this done, and like not like settling for not doing all of those things, but making sure like you have like a checklist of the things that you're doing every day and being proactive and intentional about getting those done definitely helped a lot. Because even if it was something small, like making sure you're studying in high school, it transfers over into your classes for college and everything, and making sure you have that like discipline to like get all of that stuff done. And the same thing goes for like quiet time. If you're developing a routine in high school with spending time with God, then that's going to carry into college. But if you don't have that foundation, then when you get to college, you're going to be like, oh no, what do I do?
Yeah.
So sure, you start that now. It's important.
Yeah. I think that I don't think most of the time, most cases, students will have far, far, far more time in college than you do in high school.
Yeah.
And it's easy to think, well, then I'll have time to do everything. But when you have a lot of time, but you're not determining how you're going to use that time, and you don't have a system or a routine or whatever, then it makes it very easy to literally just watch streaming shows 20 hours a day, which it's fine to watch streaming shows in college. You should, but we want to take advantage of that extra time and use it for the things that are actually important. Second question is, why do you think it's so important to start preparing now instead of, right before you go to school or even once you get to school?
Well, because like when you go to college, or just like when you have any kind of transition like that, even if like you're staying in town, like I stayed in town, literally everything in your life changes. And if you're not like preparing for that months in advance, then you're gonna get to that change and you're gonna be like, holy crap, what am I supposed to do now? Like, even like you were saying, like extra time, if you're not preparing for that extra time that you're going to have, it's going to be wasted, or it's not going to be used to like the fullest potential if you don't start kind of preparing in that. And like you just like want to be the most ready for your transition that you can be. So the earlier you start preparing, the better it'll turn out.
Mm. What was something that you did not expect and you weren't prepared for?
I think for me, because I was staying in town, I definitely thought that like I was gonna stay close to like all of my friends And like, I was like, oh, they're going to come visit all the time. We're going to be best friends. And then it got to like September or October of my first semester of college, and all of my friends were out of town, and I literally had nobody to talk to. And I didn't like keep in touch that much with the people that were staying in town, because I was like, oh, I'm going to have my friends that live in Gainesville and live in Tallahassee. And so I like wasn't intentional about making friends and finding friends in Jacksonville. And I got to October and I was completely alone, and I was just like, frick, this sucks.
And what was one thing that you feel like, because you prepared during high school, that you were prepared for once you got to college?
I think like developing that routine, and just like being intentional about the way that I spent my time in high school definitely helped me when I got into college, because I had all this extra time to do other fun things, because I had those like set out like study times or quiet times or just intentional times to do a certain thing. I already had those like laid out in my day. So it was a lot easier to kind of like add stuff in as I went,
Yeah.
which was very helpful.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Do you have anything else to add? Anything else you want to tell the seniors about preparing now for the future?
When you're looking for friends, find ones that really love Jesus, because you want them to bring you closer to him, not farther away.
Yeah, it's good. And one of the things we'll talk about, or that we talk about when we have like our senior curriculum, which seniors will start in a couple of weeks, is like finding new community and like how to do that, and like the importance of it, because it may be the first time you've had to do that in like maybe like since middle school or elementary school or whatever. And so that's something that we're not necessarily used to, so we have to be ready for, and know what we're looking for and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good point. All right, well, thank you, Sarah. Love you so much. Bye bye.
You're so welcome. Love you so much. See